Pancreas is an organ located behind liver and stomach and secretes insulin and glucagon into the bloodstream to control the amount of glucose in the body. If glucose levels gets too low, glucagon is secreted to stimulate the release of glucose from the liver. Right after a meal, blood glucose levels rises and stimulates beta cells to secrete insulin. Within 20 minutes after a meal, insulin rises to its peak level and the liver stops producing glucose and stores it in other forms. As insulin levels reaches their peak, the pancreas reduces the level of insulin. Normal glucose regulation involves many factors including insulin, counter-regulatory hormones, incretin hormones, and amylin. Insulin regulates the metabolism of carbohydrate, protein, and fat as follows. Promotes the cellular uptake of plasma glucose, stimulates the conversion of glucose into energy storage molecules, facilitates cellular uptake of amino acids and their conversion into proteins, inhibits the production of glucose from liver, muscle glycogen or amino acids, decreases the breakdown of fatty acids to ketone bodies. Counter-regulatory hormones in diabetes are hormones that work against insulin, where insulin lowers blood glucose and counter-regulatory hormones increases blood glucose. The counter-regulatory hormones include glucagon, growth hormone, catecholamines, and cortisol. Incretin hormone. Ingested glucose promotes a more rapid release of insulin from the pancreas than when glucose is given by intravenous injection. This occurs because the incretin hormones, gastric inhibitory peptide and glucagon-like peptide are secreted by the intestines in response to glucose ingestion. Amylin is an hormone that is co-secreted with insulin from the pancreatic beta cells. Thus, in individuals with type 1 diabetes mellitus, little to no amylin is produced, whereas in type 2 diabetes mellitus, amylin is produced but in an insufficient quantity. Changes to any of these factors may result in imbalance of glucose levels and development of diabetes. Diabetic complication. Hyperglycemia induces a large number of alterations at the cellular level and accelerates the atherosclerotic processes. Diabetic complication is categorized into microvascular complication where the damage occurs at small blood vessels and macrovascular complication where the damage occurs at large blood vessels. Microvascular complications include diabetic retinopathy, diabetic nephropathy, diabetic neuropathy. Macrovascular complications include cerebrovascular disease, risk of stroke, cardiovascular disease, risk of heart attack, peripheral vascular disease, poor circulation to limbs. Diabetic retinopathy is 25 times more common in individuals with diabetes. It is caused due to damage of blood vessels of retina. Diabetic retinopathy is classified into proliferative diabetic retinopathy and non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy. PDR occurs in response to lack of oxygen following capillary closure. New vessels are formed along the surface of the retina, but these new vessels are weak and prone to rupture, leading to vitreous hemorrhage and macular edema. NDPR is the earliest stage of diabetic eye disease prior to the growth of new blood vessels and may remain asymptomatic for years. Filtering units of the kidney are filled with tiny blood vessels. During hyperglycemia, these vessels get accumulated and leads to diabetic nephropathy. Diabetic nephropathy is the leading cause for end-stage renal failure. Diabetic neuropathies include diastole symmetric polyneuropathy and autonomic neuropathy. DPN is also known as peripheral neuropathy. It occurs at the diastole portion of the lower extremities in a stocking and glove pattern. Affected individuals may complain of burning, numbness, or tingling. Autonomic neuropathy involves multiple systems throughout the body, including the cardiovascular, gastrointestinal, and genitourinary system. Atherosclerosis is a major threat to macrovascular patients. In patients with diabetes, both LDL and HDL gets glycated, and this will result in increased half-life of LDL and decreased half-life of HDL. These events will increase the ability to promote atherogenesis. For prevention of these complications, attention should be given to multiple risk factors. Dyslipidemia, lipid levels should be maintained. The primary focus of lipid management is to lower LDL and triglyceride levels through lifestyle changes. Hypertension. Development of hypertension in type 1 diabetes mellitus are often due to nephropathy, whereas in type 2 diabetes mellitus it is due to a variety of cardiovascular risk factors. Smoking cessation, nicotine contribute to both microvascular and macrovascular complications. The most common hyperglycemic emergencies are diabetic ketoacidosis and hyperosmolar hyperglycemia. In DKA, due to decreased insulin levels, fats are converted into energy and ketones are formed as byproducts. Typically occurs in individuals with type 1 diabetes mellitus but can also occur in type 2 diabetes mellitus. DKA has sudden onset. In HHS, high blood sugar results in high osmolarity without significant ketoacidosis. Mostly affects elderly and has a gradual onset. Dehydration, electrolyte depletion and hypotonic fluid loss is seen in HHS to a greater extent than in DKA.